Hello and welcome back on Training on the Go. So the property I just viewed is actually in a horrible state. Previous tenants, they were cultivating weeds and stuff, so there was no cooker, and apparently they were cooking something else, so definitely not food. The property is quite cheap in terms of price. However, I don't think, well, I'm sure 100% is not good and a good investment for rental. And even for my investors, you know, when I sell some of the deals for deal packaging, it's still not a good deal. So I wouldn't sell anything that I wouldn't buy myself, and that is super important when you do deal packaging. Now, why the property didn't work? Well, simply because you needed a lot of money to refurbish it, so to do the renovation. There were several things, hatches and stuff. They were trying to hide all the drugs they were cultivating there. The kitchen needs completely redone. There is a worktop throughout the kitchen, but no stove, nothing to cook. And the bathroom as well is in a horrible state. There is a lot more as well to comment on this property. The electricals were old, were tired, outdated, which means you have to spend at least £3,000 on electrical full rewiring. You need to spend a lot of money for kitchen, bathroom, carpet throughout, or laminate, depends what you want. But I think the most important part for that particular property was the lack of a parking space. So you had to walk up the hill a little bit to get to the property, so accessibility was not something that the property offered. Now, if you're planning to do a big refurb for this property, for example, the tradesman will struggle to bring up the material, which means they're going to charge you more, which means the refurb is going to cost you more. Now, at the end of the day, even if you're buying a property a bit cheaper than the usual market, because nobody wants to buy it, so it might be a lemon, you know, as they say in property, when you buy a bad deal, it's still a risk because you might not rent it. It's not desirable, there's no parking space. So even if you make it beautiful, that accessibility probably is one of the main problems for tenants. So always consider these things, consider the accessibility to the property. If there is parking space or on-street parking, it doesn't matter, as long as there is something close to the property where you can park your car or your van for the tradesmen. The price, of course, is important, but most important is the hidden costs for refurbishment. Now remember, home report in Scotland. Now in England there is no home report, so you don't have an actual value. Home report in Scotland tells you most of the things, but doesn't tell you everything. For example, it doesn't tell you if it needs a full rewiring, so you need to have a trained eye to spot if there are problems with the property and you need to do a full rewiring, because that is a hidden cost of £3,000, so it's not a cheap cost. Sometimes you have a back boiler as well in the properties. Now, back boilers were famous in a long time ago. Nowadays you have to change them with either a combi boiler or a normal boiler, so a more modern that works and is more energy efficient. So if you see a combi boiler and the property is beautiful, you still have to change that if it doesn't work, which means that's another £2,500–3,000 extra cost that you have to add to the property refurbishment. And that includes removal of the back boiler and installation of the new modern boiler. So all in all, it was not a good deal. I wouldn't sell it. I wouldn't even consider it. So you know, it's a learning curve, but you can learn these things only by doing viewings. If you don't go out of your room, there's no way you're going to learn anything. So I hope it's been useful. Subscribe to the channel if you want, and like it, and then share it if you can. Thank you, and see you soon. Bye bye.